we went through the recertification process. That took a number of months to get ready, and then we waited.
We married when we were older, and so it was difficult for us to get pregnant and have children. So we decided that we would look into adopting children.
We looked around at a couple of different foster family agencies. Once we got our home study approved, then it took about 6 months or so. We had a couple of phone calls for a couple of other children.
One of them was a set of twin boys. We found out that they had gone to another home. Then we submitted paperwork for a 9-month-old little boy, and that one did not go through either. And our thought was always, well, God has a plan for us and for them, that maybe the other family was a better fit for their needs and who they were. April 14, we got a call, and we were asked if we wanted to submit for a little girl that had the possibility of HIV. She was 3 days old. We studied up on HIV and found out that she had really good chances of not getting it. And so we said, yes, we will do this. There are like 4 stipulations that needed to be followed through with, that mom couldn't breastfeed, which mom didn't because she was taken immediately from mom, that she had to be on medications for the first 12 weeks of her life, and then that at birth the bloods could not mix. And because she was taken cesarean, she had a really low chance of obtaining HIV.
And the other thing that we were told is that she had also tested positive for meth. Her mom and dad both had been users of meth, but she didn't have a lot in her system, and within a couple of days, she had come down from it. And when she was 3 days old, they said, "Are you interested?" We said yes, and then 24 hours later, they called us back and said, "You're picking her up tomorrow." Normally you have 9 months to prepare for a newborn. We had 48 hours. You trust that God had a plan, and this wouldn't have come about unless He had. Unless it was a part of the plan that He had both for us and for Abby. She was 5 pounds 10 ounces, but she was tiny.
She fit in my brother's arm from his elbow to his wrist.
We had to give her medication every 6 hours for the first 12 weeks of her life, and then we had to have her tested 2 months apart. They came back negative both times, so she was fine. She's been a healthy little girl ever since.
She never got sick. And I remember the hospital gave us bottles of hand sanitizer and gloves. I don't think we ever used them with her, and that was to protect us from getting HIV if she had it. Like Gary had said, it took her 2 days to come down from the meth. Usually that can take a week or longer. And so she just was a strong and healthy little girl.
So then it took a little over a year to go through the process of finalizing. There was a lot of paperwork and procedural things that needed to happen. And so we finalized her
June 12, 2015.
June 12, 2015, right.
And it was really funny because in the courtroom, the judge asked us to state our names. And Abby was only 14 months at this time. Gary stated his name, I stated my name, and Abby said, "Abby." And the judge laughed, the whole courtroom laughed, because here's this 14-month-old saying her name. And I have to say that when we first got her, she had 4 names in the first week of her life. She had a state name, she had a hospital name, she had her mother's name, and she had our name. And it was really fun and exciting to know that she knew her name was Abby, the one that we gave her.
We knew that we wanted to, add to our family. We were going to have another child. And so we went through the recertification process. That took a number of months to get ready, and we waited, and we waited, and we waited. We ended up waiting a total of 5 years. And during that time, you do sort of question, 1, whether or not you're following God's plan, and 2, whether or not He's really, is He really working this situation, or are we straying from the path that He has set up for us?
And just doing what we want versus what He actually wants for us. it was, again, is God telling us no? Or is he telling us, yes, this is what I want you to do? Because a couple other times prior to this, we were debating as to whether we should switch companies or if we should go with the county or if we should, just stop. But I know Abby prayed every single night for a little sister. And she kept asking, why doesn't God answer? Why doesn't he bring me a sister? And we're like, because he has his timing and we just have to wait for that. He has a plan and we'll wait for that.
So we got a call that they had a 13-month-old little girl that needed a home. There maybe wasn't much of a connection at the time. She was very aloof. She just didn't seem to be attached. But, we sort of felt that this was being laid out by God for us. And so we then, about a week later, we had her come to our home, and she stayed for about 4 or 5 days, and you could already start to see the change in her. And so after about 4 or 5 days, the social workers, called back and said, so how are things going? And we said, we'll take her. And they said, this visit was supposed to be a temporary, let's get to know each other visit. And they said, we're just gonna leave her there. We're not even gonna come back and get her. She's gonna stay there.
So we just got notification this last week that we are gonna sign final paperwork for her December 20. And then we'll have a court date to finalize everything, and then she will fully be a case.
We are the Case family, and this is our story.
I'm Pastor Tara Van Cross, and we're so glad that you've tuned into our Azure Hills Church YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe, and click on the bell so that you'll be notified every time we share new videos. We are so glad that you're here. Until next time, please know that we're praying for you as you continue to be a voice of hope.